Happy Thursday night. It is Thursday, May the 18th. Thursday, May the 18th, 2023. And I hope you are doing great tonight. I am doing fantastic. It has been an extremely busy week, and I cannot wait for this weekend. Hope that you all have had a great week. And this is part two of our 70s film frenzy. We're going to be talking 70s films tonight, just like last week, just kicking back and just relaxing and just talking about some of our favorite films from this incredible decade of cinema that we call the 1970s. So I covered 10 films last week. We got a lot of input and comments about different film recommendations from this amazing period of cinema, which I think for me is I would have to say, definitely my favorite decade of cinema. And so many great films that came out in the 1970s. And what I want to do is just come on here for a couple live streams and just share some of my favorites. So I shared 10 last week. I'm going to share 10 more favorites tonight and probably a few more. But I also want to hear what you think about the 10 films that I'm going to share, and also hear what some of your favorite films from this decade are. So what do we love about the 70s? I know for me personally, I love the culture, the vibe, just the epicness of what was going on culturally, and the shifts that were going on in the country, here in the United States, and around the world. So much was going on in the world of culture, in the world of social issues, music, everything. It was just an incredible period of time coming out of the 60s into the 1970s. And film was a big part of what was being influenced by that culture. And film itself influenced the culture, not only for the 70s decade, but beyond into the 80s and up to the current day. So yeah, that's why I love this decade of cinema. And I just find these films to be a bit of comfort food. So I'm going to cover 10 films. I'm going to go through them in chronological order of release. Now, the way I got this organized here is I have I have a little bit of a script here, and I've got the 10 films listed. And it just so happens that I have a film for every year of the decade of the 70s tonight, with the exception of the year 1970 itself. So we got representation for 1971, 2, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, and 79. So like I said last week, these are films that came out in the 1970s. They were made in the 70s, and they're films about the 70s. So there's a lot of films that were made in the 70s that are 70s films, but they're not 70s films for the purposes of this live stream. So let me give you a couple of examples of that. And some of these are some of the greatest films of all time, some of the most incredible films ever. Star Wars. This film came out in 1977. For purposes of these live streams, I'm not counting these in 70s films, because even though this is a 1977 movie, it's about adventures in the galaxy a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. It's not about life in the 1970s. So I love Star Wars. I love Han, Luke, and Leia, but it's not included in what we're talking about here. Also, I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse. The Godfather. Those films came out, the first one and the second one came out 1972, 1974. Epic films. Love these movies. But they're about the Corleone family in the 1950s. So they're period pieces. It's not depicting life in the 1970s. So love the Godfather films, but they're not included. And of course, Sigourney Weaver and Ripley, she was doing her thing in Aliens. This film came out in 1979. It is a 70s movie, but it's about science fiction horror in the future. It's not depicting life in the 1970s. So it's not included in what we are covering in this live stream here. So are we good? Does that make sense? So I'm going to go to the comment section on this wonderful Thursday. Tell me, what kind of week have you had? I mean, have you had a busy week? Has it been, crazy like mine has been? Are you glad that the weekend is upon us? Because I am ready for the weekend. Last weekend we had, of course, Mother's Day weekend. My son had no basketball, so it was a little bit of a break from the basketball tournament stuff. We do have a tournament this weekend, but last weekend we had Mother's Day. That was awesome. But this weekend we got more basketball tournament action. but I'm just looking for a nice chill weekend that's coming up. But let's see who's out there in the comments here. Mr. Adrian is always there. How are you doing, sir? I'm saying hello to everybody. Internet user is out there. How are you doing? Hello to you. Mid-level media, love that Carrie image. Yes. And I tell you what, Ken, Carrie, I cannot say enough good things about Carrie. I love that movie, man. In fact, I might even pop it in the player tonight. Either that or Child's Play 3. So Sue sent me that Child's Play or that Chucky collection, and I've been loving it. I've seen the first Child's Play last weekend, and I saw the second one, I believe, Sunday night, and I need to see Child's Play 3. But I have been loving that so far, and I may watch that and Carrie tonight. So we shall see. Good evening, Holland. How are you doing? Jim, it says, hey, everybody, everyone can't wait to talk the best decade of movies ever. Yes, yes. I mean, to me, there are films, amazing films throughout the entirety of cinema, right? Back to the 1910s, 20s, all the way up to current day. We have an epic film that's going to probably get nominated for multiple Academy Awards opening this coming weekend, Fast X. I mean, that's going to probably be nominated for Best Picture. So we have some of the best films of all time that are coming out throughout many decades of cinema. But the 1970s is just something special in my mind. What's up, Ken? Kenny Levels, how are you doing? Mr. Mid-Levolution, I need to order one of y'all's t-shirts. Hello, Jim, saying hello to Holland. Jim saying hello to Ken. People just saying hello to one another. We have Mama Blu-ray. How are you doing, Mama Blu-ray? Miss Bonnie, hope you're doing well. You and Miss Sue. We got Mika and Kira. How are y'all doing, ladies? I got my peppermint tea here going, so enjoying that. I've run through my spearmint tea, so I need to run the Publix tomorrow and get another box of that Bigelow spearmint tea. It is fantastic, but for now I'm drinking peppermint. Hope y'all are doing well. See, Adrian, Chef, Ken, Mama Blu-ray, Mika, Holland saying hello to everybody. Love Godfather. Yeah, I do too. It's so amazing. Godfather Part 2, masterpieces, but they are period pieces where the action is taking place in the 1950s. See, double feature, Hi Holland, from Mother's Day to Fast X. Yes, yes. How many of you think Fast X has a chance to be nominated for Best Picture? Or more seriously, how many of you are planning to actually go see Fast X? I'm still debating whether or not I'm going to see it. I did see a segment from John Campea today talking about the projected opening for Fast X is projected to be a disappointing $60 million. And this is supposed to be a 3-part ending to the Fast and Furious saga. So it's going to be interesting to see how this saga wraps up. I still have not seen Fast 9, and I'm not in a hurry to see it. I heard it's horrible, but let me know if y'all plan to see Fast X in the theaters this weekend. Hard Copy Blue says, got to go with a great slice of 70s that you actually recommended to me, James. 74's Claudine. Yes. With James Earl Jones and, oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank. Diane Carroll. Yes. James Earl Jones and Diane Carroll. It is so good. That Criterion edition is excellent. Highly recommended. We got Holland saying hello to Vin. Adrian saying hello to everyone. Mika and Kira saying hello to Mama Blu-ray. See, Ken, speaking of 70s, I just watched Marathon Man the other night and thought it was great. Yes, Marathon Man. This is a fantastic. Now, this is not included in my 10 films that I have listed tonight, but this is so good. With Dustin Hoffman. I mean, the cast is amazing, folks. Dustin Hoffman, Laurence Olivier, Roy Scheider, William Devaney, and Martha Keller. Man, this is a great cast. This is a great film. And this is one of those films that, again, this is Kino Lorber doing their thing, restoring these films from the 1970s, New York City film, and it looks fantastic on this 4K. So that's a great call out, Ken. I love Marathon Man too. Peppermint tea sounds great. Oh yeah. This is Bigelow brand. I love it. I love nice herbal teas. They're very comforting. Sue and I are going to X tomorrow. Okay. Awesome. Definitely look forward to hearing what y'all think about X. I've heard that I've heard that it is just absolutely Jeremy Johns. He did a review and of it, and he said that it is bombastic. It's just plenty of just high octane action just throughout the entire movie. So if you're into that, you should really have a great time with it. Glad you're diving into and enjoying Chucky. Just remember, after 3, it's going to get a little bumpy. Okay. Yeah, I'm probably going to watch 3 tonight, Ken. I'm probably going to pop in 3 tonight, and I might watch Carrie as well. So we shall see. See, Diane Carroll, what a legend. She was a legend. She is just extraordinary, and she's just fantastic in that film. Claudine, just wonderful. Adrian saying, Hank's saying hello to Mama Blu-ray. We got saying hello to Adrian back. Can you not see my comments? Not see my comments? I can see this comment right here, Caveman. Hope you're doing well. Adrian saying hello to Ken. Hi, Mika. People saying hello to one another. A lot of people just saying hello to each other. I'm watching Jaws right now. Jaws was one of my 10 films from last week. So definitely check out last week's stream. What's up, Mr. Dell? How are you doing, sir? Saying hello to Dell. Are we going to be talking more Pacino tonight? We shall see. We shall see. But I love Pacino. I tell you what, he is absolutely amazing. And I've been loving these 70s films with him, like Serpico, Dog Day Afternoon. Fantastic. So with that, let's jump into the first film that we're going to talk about here on this 70s. And I want to hear what you all think about this particular movie. Now, last week I covered one of my films was Play Misty for Me, one of my picks, which is Clint Eastwood's directorial debut. Love that movie. It's my favorite Clint Eastwood directed film. Now, this is a film starring Clint Eastwood, but he did not direct this film. It's actually a double feature in this set, but it's Dirty Harry. But this has Dirty Harry and Magnum Force. And but I'm talking about the 1971 film Dirty Harry. Now, in this little set here, you'll see that it's got 2 discs, and it's got Dirty Harry, and it's got Magnum Force. And this does make me wonder, are we going to get the Dirty Harry series on 4K? I don't believe they've been released on 4K, but Dirty Harry is just amazing. I mean, you have Clint Eastwood, he's playing Harry Callahan. He's a San Francisco detective, and he is, trying to track down a serial killer in this first film in the series. So he's Detective Harry Callahan, and he's, going up against this psychopathic serial killer in San Francisco. And it is just fantastic. It's the beginning of that franchise that's continued with Magnum Force here. And it goes on with another installment later in the decade, if I can bring it up, called The Enforcer. So if you like Clint Eastwood, if you like Dirty Harry films, definitely check out this first one, Dirty Harry, Magnum Force, The Enforcer. Just absolutely amazing films. It's from 1971. Let me know what you think about Dirty Harry. Are there any Dirty Harry fans out there? Let's see. Holland saying hey to Dell. The 70s was my childhood times. Oh, awesome. Dell saying hello to everybody. Real Life by Albert Brooks, 79, hilarious satire of documentaries. Yeah, I love Albert Brooks. Love Albert Brooks. You feeling lucky, punk? Oh, yeah. So many great one-liners. Go ahead, make my day. I mean, he's just brilliant, just brilliant. Mika and Kira saying hello to Dell. But yeah, I mean, I just cannot recommend Dirty Harry enough. He is just absolutely fantastic. He's great in Magnum Force as well. Just so many wonderful one-liners in all of these Dirty Harry movies. And they take place in San Francisco. He's playing Harry Callahan. He's a detective. He's a detective and a womanizer. He always gets his man. He, is rough on the bad guys and the punks out there, and he keeps them straight with his gun here. So it doesn't get any better than Clint Eastwood in Dirty Harry. So let's see, what other comments do we have here? One of my favorite Clint Eastwood films from the 70s is The Gauntlet. Yeah, that's another. Actually, that's another. I think that's another Dirty Harry film, isn't it? Yep. That's a good one. Good evening. Oh, Mr. KB, how are you doing? It is almost Friday. I tell you what, I consider Thursday to be the unofficial start of the weekend. So in my book, we're already beginning to start the weekend, folks. I mean, tomorrow we got to wrap things up for the work week, just put a nice big red bow on the week, and then we kind of glide into the weekend. So I'm looking forward to it. Yes, Dirty Harry, a crisp, beautifully paced film, great cinematography of the gritty San Francisco streets. Yes, and I can definitely appreciate that because I just about a month ago came back from San Francisco, so it was my first time out there. I had never been there before. Took the family out there and had a great time. And while I was out there, I was thinking of like Dirty Harry and Hitchcock's Vertigo and just all the great films that are based in San Francisco. So it's good stuff. Mama Blu-ray, I was dating and married in the 70s, saw a lot of movies, great times. Oh, yes. The 70s is just it's just such a cool decade in my mind, or at least, you know, whatever I see on TV that depicts the 70s, there's just something special about it that I just absolutely love. And I consider these films to be kind of like a time capsule of that era, of that time that, of course, is no more, but it just captures that moment in time. And I really like that in a nerdy kind of way. See, hey, Jim, says Adrian. People saying hello to each other. Can't wait for the weekend. Oh, have y'all been working hard this weekend, Mika and Kira? I mean, I know I have. It's been a long week. They're saying hello to KB. Good evening to everybody. Speaking of 71, yes, 71 Straw Dogs. Recently watched very intense movie. Yes, that is a great one, hard copy. Straw Dogs has a release from the Criterion Collection. This is the Sam Peckinpah film. It is a great movie. It's got Dustin Hoffman in it. In fact, you know what? I'm going to, why don't we saunter over to the Criterion page right now. I love that recommendation so much that we're going to take a quick look over at the Criterion site. And of course, the August titles have recently been announced. So definitely check out that stream. But let's check out Straw Dogs. That was just recommended from Mr. Vin here. Yeah, this is Sam Peckinpah's 1971 film Straw Dogs. And it is so good. I mean, you've got Dustin Hoffman. He's a young American man. He married a British woman. And I believe they're living over there in her hometown. And of course, in her hometown, she knows these different men. And there's obviously some kind of a past there. And it one thing leads to another, and it goes down some very dark paths. I don't want to spoil anything, but it is just a very intense, scary type film. So you've got Dustin Hoffman. He plays a American mathematician. He moves with his English wife, Amy, to the village where she grew up. And their sense of safety unravels as the local men David has hired to repair their house prove more interested in leering at Amy and intimidating David, beginning an agonizing initiation into the iron laws of violent masculinity that govern Peckinpah's world. So it's a violent film. It's an intense film. It's an uncomfortable film. There's certain sequences in this movie that will make you uncomfortable. And I think that was the intent of the director. But you have Amy, played by Susan George, who plays his wife, just fantastic. But this is a great addition from Criterion that I highly, highly recommend. It is Straw Dogs, a movie from 1971 starring Dustin Hoffman. Of course, you see the men of the town who are up to no good. So, but yeah, that's a great recommendation for sure. So I definitely appreciate that, Vin. That's a good one. Oh, see here. See, The Outlaw Josie Wells is another great 70s Eastwood film. Absolutely, 100%. That is a good one as well. It's a period piece. I think it takes place in like the 1800s, maybe, does it? But it's a great 70s film. In fact, I can't think of, as I sit here right now, I don't think I can think of one Eastwood film that I don't like. Can anyone think of a Clint Eastwood film that you don't like? Let me know in the comments section. Straw Dogs is very intense, 100%. I mean, it's a very intense one, but I definitely recommend it. Let's see. Jim is jealous of Mama Blu-ray. As a film nerd, would have loved to be alive in the 70s and take a stroll down 42nd Street and catch all those great grindhouse films. Mm-hmm. Mika, KB, Mama Blu-ray, Dell saying hello to folks. I watched Straw Dogs last weekend. Holland did. It's fantastic. 100%. Nice. Great time. So much calmer. Yeah, I would imagine so, Mama Blu-ray. I mean, it's a different time, a different era. You know, just the culture, the vibe, the way people dressed. Just wow, what an amazing period. Yes, Dell, definitely check out Straw Dogs for sure. I mean, honestly, think about it. The 70s, we had Spielberg, Peckinpah, De Palma, Scorsese, Coppola. Yeah. Lucas Bogdanovich. Yes, 100%. Amazing. Speaking of Bogdanovich, coming out tomorrow on this channel is a review of his feature film debut as a director, Peter Bogdanovich's Targets. Now, this came out in 1968, but yeah, I definitely enjoyed Targets. That is such a good addition, such a good film. It's got Boris Karloff in it. It's very unique premise. I love it. So you'll hear more about that. 1978, The Driver with Ryan O'Neal, a younger Bruce Dern. If you have not seen it, I've not seen it. You need to check trivia about it. Originally, it was written for Steve McQueen. He didn't like cars at the time. Great movie. Okay, The Driver. Have to check that one out. Thank you. 42nd Street, not back then. Okay. So we wouldn't want to be on 42nd Street in the 1970s, KB? Dangerous. You know, I'm actually going, interesting enough, my wife and I are headed to New York City in a couple of weeks. And I think, in a couple of weeks. So, but I have appreciated how much safer the city seems to be current day than it was, say, 50 years ago in the 1970s. They've done a lot to sort of clean the city up. Okay, I'm sorry, hold on. Sticking with 1971, I recommend A New Leaf. Okay. It's co-starring Elaine May alongside Walter Matthau, directed by, because Elaine May also directed the Criterion edition of Mikey and Nikki. So starring Peter Falk. So I think we'll definitely have to check that one out. Hey, Caveman. Hey, KB. Josie Wales took place either at the end of or shortly after the Civil War. Yes, that's right. That's right. So for purposes of this stream, I love that film, but I'm just focused on films from the 70s that take place in the 70s. But that is a great film, Outlaw Josie Wales. Chi-Town, 1517 in Paris is Eastwood's worst film. I haven't seen that one, so I probably can wait on that one. Is that what you're saying? Just watched one of our faves, The Way We Were, 73. Barbara and Robert were magic in that. Okay, cool. I'm with KB. You don't really want to go down 42nd Street in the 70s or 80s. Okay. How about today? Is it okay today? Because we'll be up there in a few weeks, so I need to know. Yes, it's way safer now, but Times Square gives off too much of a Disney vibe now. Too commercial for me. Okay. Yeah, we're supposed to see a show up there. I think the Michael Jackson thing, and got to see what all we got booked, but don't think there is a Clint Eastwood film I don't like. I have to see his Westerns. Haven't delved much into that genre. Oh, okay. Outlaw Josie Wales, that Dell recommended, Unforgiven. Those are two great ones right there. Hey, Holland and KB, says Caveman. Nothing says safe like Disney. Yeah, good old Disney. I tell you what. Let's see here. Two Eastwood flicks I didn't care for: The Mule or Trouble with the Curve. Yeah, I've seen The Mule, and The Mule is just okay. I mean, it's definitely lower level Eastwood for me, but I have not seen Trouble with the Curve. So let's see. Totally safer now. There's a reason Shaft's famous walk was filmed in the daytime. Yep. Yeah, the walk at the beginning when the film opens up. Yep. Fantastic. So that was my first one, Dirty Harry. Clint Eastwood, Harry Callahan. It just doesn't get any better than that. He's a cop in San Francisco, and he ain't putting up with or taking no mess from nobody. So that's what I love about Clint Eastwood. Now, several of these films I have not seen in a long time, so the details are a little bit sketchy, but I do know them to be great films, and that's why I'm recommending them. The second one here is from 1972. So I'm going from 1971 to 1972. We heard Steve McQueen mention for another film in the comments up here, but I'm recommending this film starring him and Ali McGraw. It is The Getaway, starring, and this is actually, directed by Sam Peckinpah. So he's the same director who did Straw Dogs from 1971. The year afterwards, Sam Peckinpah directed this film called The Getaway, starring Steve McQueen and Ali McGraw. So this is a really good one right here. Of course, if you open it up, you'll see the case and everything. But this is a really good movie. It's it's a crime film. It's it deals with a recently released convict who is Steve McQueen and his wife as they plan a high stakes heist. And so it's got some chase scenes in it. You'll see the front and the back here. So yeah, I mean it's a good film. I don't remember it being a great film particularly, but it's a film that I saw a long time ago that I need to rewatch. This is Steve McQueen and Ali McGraw in The Getaway. So this is probably about 8 years before Steve McQueen passed away. I think he passed away in 1980, but this is a really good film. Another Sam Peckinpah film. So watch Straw Dogs, starring Dustin Hoffman, and then watch The Getaway, starring Steve McQueen and Ali McGraw from 1972. See here. Jim Powers is laughing at KB's comment there. You're darn right, KB. Says, Ken, The Getaway is so gritty and raw. Rewatched it 5 years ago. Holds up. Yeah, this is one I definitely need to rewatch for sure. 100%. I need to rewatch The Getaway. Let's see here. Steve was a solidified action star, man. Oh, yeah. You can get it now. The Driver from Orbit DVD on 4K slip and 4K steelbook. Think like a 70s Transporter or Baby Driver Studio Canal release. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll have to keep The Driver in mind. I'll have to keep that one in mind. Has anyone seen 70s 5 Easy Pieces? I have, yes. With Jack Nicholson, that diner scene, fantastic. Jack Nicholson's first big role, great movie. Yeah, that is a really good movie. It is available from Criterion, both as a separate edition and as part of the BBS America BBS box set. So that is one of the 5 films. You've got that film by him. I believe there's a Peter Bogdanovich film in there, but that's a great set. And I have that set, and 5 Easy Pieces is a fantastic one for sure. Really good film. The next movie, so we've covered 1971, 1972, we've covered Dirty Harry, we've covered Steve McQueen, and now we're going to move to my favorite martial arts star of all time, died way too early due to some mysterious causes. Just one of those things that just make you shake your head and think, man, I really hate that. But Bruce Lee, this is an incredible Criterion box set here that I have, and I really love this set, and I'm really going to love that Arrow 4K set that's coming out, the Golden Harvest set. I put a pre-order in for that. I was debating whether or not I was going to get that set, but then when I saw all the special features that you get in that release that you don't get in this, I said, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and get it. Now, the one downer about that set is you don't get Enter the Dragon on 4K. That's going to be a separate Warner Brothers, 100th anniversary thing, standalone 4K release. So I'm going to get that Golden Harvest set and the Warner Brothers release of Enter the Dragon on 4K. That combined with this, and I'm going to have all that I will ever need for Bruce Lee, at least until they come out with something else. But I will be Bruce Lee complete at that point. But Enter the Dragon from 1973 is the film that I'm submitting here. It is just, an absolutely amazing film. It stars Bruce Lee. He is a martial arts fighter. He's going overseas to an Asian island to participate in a tournament, and it is so good. You've got Jim Kelly in this film. You've got, I mean, let me just go on to IMDb and just show you the IMDb entry for this extraordinary film that is getting a 4K release later this year. So let's just go and check out the IMDb entry. I want to know how many of you are Enter the Dragon fans. How many of you are Bruce Lee fans? Are y'all Bruce Lee fans like me? Because this film is one of the most legendary martial arts films of all time. I mean, the things you see Bruce Lee doing in this movie are it's just incredible. And I love the supporting cast. Like I said, check out this cast. You got Bruce Lee. You got John Saxon. I love his character. He plays Roper. Jim Kelly plays Williams in this movie. Love him. You've got, Ken Shi. He plays Han. He plays the man who owns this island and is conducting this tournament. He is just amazing. You have Bolu Young, who plays Bolo. And I believe Bolo Young may still be alive. Is he still alive? Let me just double check. I think he is actually still alive. Yes, he is. So yeah, Bolo Young is one of the guys that Bruce Lee's character goes up against in Enter the Dragon. But Enter the Dragon is just so good. It's just one of the most incredible films of all time. This is Bruce Lee and John Saxon. But what a great cast. And I just have a special place in my heart for Enter the Dragon. So it's one of the films featured in this amazing set from Criterion. It's from 1973. And of course, Bruce Lee's filmography is covered in this set. And it'll be covered even further in the Arrow video release that's coming out, because I am blown away by those additional documentaries and commentaries that you don't have in this Criterion set. So that's why I'm getting it. Plus, you're getting those other films in 4K. You're getting the Blu-ray for Enter the Dragon, but then I'm going to get the Enter the Dragon 4K as a standalone release from Warner later this year. So my 1973 entry in the number 3 film is Enter the Dragon, this amazing film starring Bruce Lee. And let me see who directed Enter the Dragon. Robert Klaus directed Enter the Dragon. So let me see what you all think about these picks here. Let's see. I prefer Bullet, but you can't go wrong with Getaway either. Yeah, Bullet. Steve McQueen and Bullet. Yeah. And this is from 1968. And this is an amazing film. I love the opening of this film. It's so cool. The opening of Bullet is incredible. You got to check it out. So good. Speaking of Peckinpah, I'd like to recommend Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid. Okay. We'll have to check that out. I saw that then. Good stuff. Okay. Nice recommendation. It's a good period piece. So he's talking about Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid. Okay. Let's see. Ben says, love that Bruce Criterion set. Yeah. I mean, it's a good one. It's absolutely solid. I mean, if you have this set, you don't need to get anything else. You really don't. But if you're into 4K like I am, I'm going to get that Golden Harvest set from Arrow and the Enter the Dragon standalone release when it comes out. I'm not well versed in the Bruce Lee universe. I definitely want to dive in soon. Well, getting that Arrow set is a good way to do it. Or what you might consider doing instead of that is maybe just get the Enter the Dragon 4K release, standalone release. Maybe start with that. And then if you like it, then get the Arrow set later. That may be the more prudent approach rather than commit yourself to all of that with a big, huge box set and you end up not even liking it. But I think if you get Enter the Dragon, you'll be pulled in. That Bruce Criterion is fantastic. Absolutely. Enter the Dragon. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I love that film. So good. I love the music in that film. It's perfect. John Saxon is great in it. Jim Kelly. The characters are just on point. I mean, the bad guy Han, he is so good. I mean, it's a film you have to see. I'm in the same position, James. Got the Criterion box set, getting the Arrow one and the Enter the Dragon 4K. I grew up on Bruce Lee. Yes, I did too, man. And I tell you what, I hate that he left us so soon at the age of 32. The age of 32, man. I mean, but just left behind an incredible legacy. I'm on a Jackie Chan kick myself. Forgot how good Police Story was. Yeah, Jackie Chan's great too. I love him. Love him. Isn't Jackie Chan and aren't Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker, are they planning another Rush Hour? Did I hear something about that? That they're doing another Rush Hour? And Kareem Abdul. Oh, wait. Is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? I think Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is in he's in a different Bruce Lee film. He's not in Enter the Dragon. He's in a different Bruce Lee film. But Jim Kelly is in Enter the Dragon. Do it, Jim. You're only talking 4.5 movies. He died while filming Game of Death. Yep. Let's see. Truth be told, I haven't a Bruce Lee film before. Well, there is a great opportunity to get started with what's coming out this year. I mean, with these 4K releases, folks, I mean, we are living in great times. Even though physical media, they're talking about physical media is, dwindling, whatever. I mean, that may be the case, but it is a great time to be a collector because of some of the great stuff that we're getting right now. I mean, it is a collector's dream, the things that are coming out now that we could only have imagined, years ago. Yeah, Dell, I saw Enter the Dragon and that's it, but would love to see the rest. Yep. Bolo, he's great. Yeah. Yeah. He's another great character in there. It's fantastic. I also grew up on Bruce. Enter the Dragon is the first theater experience I remember, and I've seen it at least 50 times. Yeah, I mean, it's an incredible film. It is an eminently rewatchable movie. I mean, it never gets tired. It is always fresh. It's just awesome. Quintessential Bruce Lee. One Who Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, 1975. Hang on. Bolo was great as Chang Lee in Bloodsport 2. Okay, cool. Another good Nicholson came out in 1973. Hal Ashby's The Last Detail recently got a Shout Select 4K. Also want to shout out Malik's Badlands 73. Yes. Yeah. And I was thinking about Badlands from 73, but I think that's also a period piece. So that's why I didn't include that. But that's a Criterion Collection edition, a Terrence Malick film from 1973, and it stars Sissy Spacek, who was in a film I'll talk about in a second. But this is before that film. This is her starring in a film with Martin Sheen called Badlands, and it's basically a Bonnie and Clyde type film, and it is really, really good. It's a Terrence Malick film, and I would love to see Criterion release a 4K of Badlands, because that is one that I would absolutely, without hesitation, upgrade. So good. One Mama Blu-ray, one flew west, one flew over the cuckoo's nest. Yes, that's another good one. Bolo was great in everything. Yes. So a lot of love for Bolo, a lot of love for Bruce Lee, a lot of love for martial arts. And so far, we are loving these films from the 1970s. One of my favorite decades of cinema. Now we're on to number 4. Number 4, right? Number 4 is, I'm looking at my list here. It is number 4. And it's a film from 1974. And it stars one of our favorite vigilantes, Charles Bronson. Death Wish. He plays Charles Kersey in this film. Takes place in New York City, and some bad guys brutalize his wife. And, sometimes you take things to the police, and sometimes you just got to take things in your own hands. And Paul Kersey takes things in his own hands. And the bad guys are going to have a bad day because of it. So you got to love Death Wish. This is the Kino Lorber 4K release of it. I have not seen it in its entirety, but it looks great on this 4K disc, what I've seen so far. And I'm just so I am so happy that Kino Lorber and these great labels are putting out films like this on 4K. I mean, this is, folks, this is Death Wish on 4K from Kino Lorber. I mean, that is just incredible to get a film like this from the early 1970s, get it restored on 4K. Well, to get a full 4K digital restoration, put on a 4K disc, giving it to us in native 4K, restored from the original 35 millimeter negative. So you know you're going to get, if the restoration's done right, a great picture, and you get that here. Wow, just looks fantastic, especially that Dolby Vision grade. Brings New York City to life in the early 1970s in a classic film about this vigilante who has taken the law in his own hands. Love Death Wish. This is the back of it right here. So I absolutely love this film. It says vigilante city style, judge, jury, and executioner. So don't mess with Paul Kersey. Do not mess with that man. You will regret it. Let's see. Dell says, I also grew up on Bruce. Into the Dragon is the first theater experience. Okay, I already read that. Oh, okay, I'm getting behind here. Let's see. It's great in Bloodsport too. Did I? Oh, okay. I'm going over the same comments again. Sorry. I recommend Demon Seed from 77. The title is a bit misleading since it is a sci-fi thriller. Okay, Demon Seed. Interesting. I have to keep that one in mind. Bullet, one of the greatest car chases ever filmed. I highly recommend the car chase in De Niro's Ronin. Good to know, because I have not seen Ronin. And Ronin is getting a 4K release from guess who? Kino Lorber is coming out. What is it coming out in June, folks? I think it's coming out in June. So Ronin on 4K is coming out in June, I believe, from Kino Lorber. So looking forward to that one. So I'll probably be picking that one up. Kareem, yeah, that's right. Kareem is in Game of Death. You also have Chuck Norris in, I think, I forget which one, but you have Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in Game of Death, and you also have Chuck Norris appearing in these films too. Yeah, Dell beat me to it. Bruce Lee was also Kato on the Green Hornet. So he was Kato in Green Hornet before he did those other films. But yeah. Let's see, Chris Alders from Edmonton. How are you doing, sir? Greetings to you as well from Edmonton, Canada. How are you doing, sir? JG says hello there. Badlands, yes. Badlands is so good. I love that one. So good. I call it the Kato show. Our Copy Blues, Ben, the last detail 4K is $18 at the Shout Factory sale ending tomorrow. Just FYI. Oh, okay. There's a Shout sale going on. Cool. Death Wish is a fun one. 100%. See, Kato comment, agree. Chuck Norris in Way of the Dragon. Yes. Thank you. See, I get these films mixed up, but yeah. Chuck Norris. And he's still doing his thing. He's still doing his thing, you know. So that's awesome. So we've gone through 4 of these movies so far, and I'm loving these recommendations of these additional 70s films. And now we're on to 5. So we're about to be halfway through the list, and Mama Blu-ray and someone else has already chimed this one in, and it is Jack Nicholson in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. This takes place in a mental hospital. You've got Jack Nicholson, who's a patient, and you've got other patients in this hospital. This is a nice digibook, and they're going up against up against the rules and the nurse who is in this film. But I love these like digibook releases. They're just fantastic. They give you so much information about the film, and I just love it. Check out this institution. This is not a place that you would want to be, you know. But Jack Nicholson's character is in this movie. This is an amazing film. This film from the 1970s. This film from the 1970s is a winner of 5 Academy Awards, including Best Picture. This picture that I'm holding right here is in very special company. It is one of only 3 films to hold a very distinct honor. The other 2 films are here. You've got 1934's It Happened One Night. You've got The Silence of the Lambs from 1991. And you've got One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest from 1976. I went out of order there chronologically. But these are three films that hold the distinction of being the only films in Oscars history to sweep the top five Oscars. So these films won Best Picture, Best Actor, Best Actress, Best Director, and Best Screenplay. Only three films have ever won all five of those awards. And these are the three movies right here. It Happened One Night, starring Claudette Colbert and Clark Gable from 1934. This was directed by Frank Capra. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Amazing film starring Jack Nicholson. He won maybe his first Oscar with that movie. I'll have to double check. Silence of the Lambs, absolutely crushed it at the awards. You had Anthony Hopkins winning an Oscar, Jodie Foster winning an Oscar, Jonathan Demme winning an Oscar, rest in peace. It's just an incredible film. So these three films have that very, very nice distinction. And of course, recently, Everything Everywhere All at Once is in rare company, being one of only a few films to win 3 acting Oscars. So so One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, a little bit of nerdy information there. Y'all didn't want to hear that, but just wanted to add that there. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest is a great film from the 1970s, starring Jack Nicholson. You gotta love this film. It's from 1975. So that is the next one on this list. And we're halfway through the list. And I want to know what y'all think about these movies here. So let's see here. Yeah, see, Mika and Kira say that it's one of Jack's best performances. For sure. I mean, Jack Nicholson is just, in his day, he was just amazing. Just amazing. Louise Fletcher was a great in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Yes, she won her Oscar in that movie. Mm-hmm. I've got the same digibook. It's gorgeous, and the movie is great too. Yeah, I mean, isn't this great? Isn't this nice? And, you know, of course, it'll be interesting to see if this gets a 4K release. It'll be interesting to see if a 4K of this comes out, but we shall see. But, you know, this is the kind of movie that, honestly, like if this movie gets a 4K release, how many of y'all would double dip? Because I think to myself, you know, I'm not sure if I would double dip. I think I would just be happy with the Blu-ray for a film like this. But let me know what y'all think in the comments section. What do y'all think? Would y'all upgrade if a 4K of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest came out? Let's see, 75, Dog Day is on my all-time favorite list. Also Kubrick's Barry Lyndon. Criminally overlooked film due to the runtime turning people off. I feel it's great. Yeah, it is. I think it's about 3 hours. Barry Lyndon is a beautiful film. I mean, the lighting with the candlelight, it is an incredibly shot, beautiful, amazing period piece movie. Very sad and devastating from a story standpoint, you know, for certain parts of it, but it's an epic movie, and it's one of Kubrick's best films. And for a lot of people, is their favorite of Kubrick's films. It's not my personal favorite of his films, but it's definitely up there. But it's a great movie, and it's got a great addition from Criterion. See, Cuckoo's Nest, love it. Nurse Ratch still haunts my dreams. Yep. I call Sue Nurse Ratchet. Oh man, I bet she loves that Mama Blu-ray. Let's see, It Happened One Night, classic studio era. Yeah, great film too. Really, really good movie. Really good movie. Did anyone watch? Which I would hope it's a good movie if it won all those Oscars, right? Did anyone watch the Nurse Ratched series a few years ago? I didn't know there was a Nurse Ratched series. Was that a TV series? I heard Jack wasn't the first choice for that role. Now I couldn't possibly imagine anyone else doing that role. Yeah, and that's an interesting point, Jim, is that, and we see this often when you go through special features of a lot of these films, is when you hear about the history of these movies, it's really fascinating to hear about the fact that we have these actors who play in these roles that become huge, jumping off points for them. But oftentimes they weren't even, to your point, they weren't even the first choice for the role. And you kind of wonder, I wonder if the original person who they wanted, if they had played it, what would have happened? Would they have done as good a job? Or, it's one of those things where you kind of think that maybe that things just worked out the way they should have worked out. So I love that. That's how Humphrey Bogart became the big star that he became, because he ended up taking roles that other bigger stars at the time turned down. And he ended up taking those roles like the Maltese Falcon and ended up becoming a bigger star than those other stars ever were. So it's amazing how things turn out sometimes. Have not seen Cuckoo in a long time. Me either. I have not seen it in a long time. So I need to rewatch that in a number of these films. But I wouldn't double dip unless it had major new special features that transfer on that Blu-ray. It looks great. Yeah, I would agree. I mean, this is, for me, I'm pretty selective about films I would upgrade. And this is probably just one that I would say, you know what, I'm just happy with the Blu-ray. I'm glad to have it. This digibook is beautiful. It's a great addition, and I'm just good with it. I'm going to put my 4K dollars, somewhere else. Let's see. The show is fantastic, says JG. Good. I probably wouldn't double dip for a 4K of this one. Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you, Del. I don't think I would either. So yeah, we're halfway through. We've gone through 5 films. We've gone through 1975. Now it's time to get to 1976. Stephen King, the storyteller. So many of his films have made it to motion pictures. And this is one of the greatest ones. This is Brian De Palma. My God, what an amazing director. I love Brian De Palma. I love Sissy Spacek, John Travolta, Piper Laurie, Amy Irving, Carrie. Give me Carrie, folks. You gotta love it. I mean, look at this J card here. This is a Steelbook. Is this Lionsgate? No, it's MGM Screen. But check out this Steelbook, folks. Check it out. This is the film from 1976 starring Sissy Spacek as Carrie White. She is a girl that has telekinetic powers. She is a girl who is unsure of herself. She's shy. And sometimes, if you're in high school, teenagers can be pretty cruel. Kids can be cruel to one another. And sometimes that can have devastating consequences. She has a mother at home played by Piper Laurie in a legendary performance, who is a religious extremist and is very oppressive to Carrie at home. So she's catching trouble at school, she's catching trouble at home, and she's having trouble dealing with these strange powers. And things culminate in a very fascinating way that I won't spoil if you have not seen this film. I don't want to spoil this movie for anybody. If you have not seen this movie, the only thing I can tell you, if you like horror films, if you like Brian De Palma, just watch it. I can't say anything else, but just watch this movie. You'll be mesmerized, pulled in, and there's no better way to experience it than to experience it on this 4K edition of this amazing film from 1976, Carrie. It's one of Brian De Palma's best films. It is just incredible. I mean, he was on an amazing run during this period. He did this movie. He did Blowout 5 years later. Brian De Palma is just, he's the man. What can I say? I mean, Brian De Palma is the man, folks. And that cast is amazing that I just named off. So anyway, have you picked up on the idea that I like Carrie? I love Carrie. I love Carrie. Not only do I love Carrie, I do want to mention, of course, this is the 1976 original. They did a remake of Carrie, which I would say, if somebody came to me and asked, hey, we're thinking about doing a remake of Carrie, my first response would be skip, double skip, triple skip. Okay, no need to do that at all. But they did a remake starring Chloe Grace Moretz and Julianne Moore right here. Check out this lenticular, how it changes with the blood there. Isn't that cool? But this film is from, when did this film come out? This film came out in, I don't want to hold y'all up looking it up. It came out 2013, so I guess 10 years ago. Yeah. So, but yeah, this is Carrie. Look at that. Wow. And I have to say, the remake is actually decent. It's a decent remake. It's a serviceable remake. Julianne Moore is great, right? She's always wonderful. Chloe Grace Moretz, wonderful young actress. She's fine. So the film is fine. I mean, I'm not going to trash this remake. I just don't think it's necessary, and it does not, it pales in comparison to the original. But it is a good movie. I would say if you've never seen Carrie, please do not start with this one. Watch the original. Watch this one right here, folks. And then if you want to go ahead and watch this remake just for curiosity's sake. Let's see. What do we have here? All right. We have Caveman Movies and More. Wouldn't buy day one unless Steelbook 4K of Cuckoo's Nest had the Blu-ray. Is to pass until my roommate stole all my movies and pawned them. Also, over 3,000 movies. Caveman, I'm sorry about that, man. What kind of roommate is that? Good night. Well, no worries. This is where forgiveness comes into play. Forgive and move on, my brother. It will be okay. Forgive him and just pray that the Lord bless him. That's all I can tell you. That's really sad. I hate to hear that happen. I love Nancy Allen. Nancy Allen is great. I mean, she's great in Carrie, that Brian De Palma film. She's great in Blowout with John Travolta. Again, John Travolta in Blowout. Nancy Allen is just wonderful. I mean, she's in RoboCop. I mean, she's great in everything. I mean, I love Nancy Allen. See, Carrie never gets old. It doesn't. It's an amazing film. It's just quintessential horror. Yes, I knew this one had to be coming up. This is a dang masterpiece. Oh, 100%. Carrie, Mama Blu-ray, Carrie gave me nightmares. Yeah. It is so good. I've never read the book from Stephen King. I wonder if you've read the book for Carrie, how closely does it follow? How closely does the movie follow the book? Is it a faithful adaptation, or does it depart? Let me know in the comments here. See, so glad to see Carrie make an appearance, a favorite of mine. Yeah, it's one of the best. I mean, it's one of the best. And it's one of those examples, again, I'm not a big fan of, I don't totally crap on these type of remakes, especially if they're done well. And this was done, like I said, this is a perfectly fine movie. I would just tell anyone that you're doing yourself a disservice if your first exposure to this story is this, right? Definitely watch the original and then watch the remake. Because it is pretty good. 76 had mega hits Rocky and Taxi Driver, another great movie, which I covered last week. Also, The Tenant from Polanski always stuck with me. Crazy ending. Okay. I have not seen it. I'll have to check it out. Yes, James, I've only seen 4 of De Palma's films, and they've all been great. Yeah, I mean, Brian De Palma is amazing. He actually, we're getting Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning this year, the new Mission Impossible film starring Tom Cruise. I have not seen the trailer. I'm looking forward to seeing it. And I have no doubt in my mind that it's going to be a fantastic, fun film. I cannot wait to see it. The first Mission Impossible film from 1996 was directed by Brian De Palma. So De Palma directed the first of those Mission Impossible films starring Tom Cruise. It's the one where Tom Cruise is hanging like this here in that very first one. So yeah, that was Brian De Palma who did that film. I love Sisters, but this was a movie that announced to the world that De Palma was here to stay as a horror suspense director. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Nurse Ratched was a Netflix series starring Sarah Paulson. Much more thriller horror. It wasn't terrible, but the character should have been named something else. Okay. Interesting. That's good to know. I'll have to check that out. I still need to watch my Carrie 4K. I think I'm saving it for October. Well, yeah, I mean, you could do that then, but you can also pop it in the night. Check it out. It's a nice 4K, and man, that movie you can watch anytime, man. I'm skipping Straw Dogs and Carrie remakes. Yeah. Straw Dogs got a remake as well. It got a remake too. Yep. I also love Carrie. Yes, Dell. I mean, it's so good. So good. Holland, you can't skip. Take your caveman club and smash that like button. Well, thank you, caveman. I appreciate that. I have that Carrie remake, but never bothered watching. I will now. Yeah, check it out. Check it out and let us know what you think of it. Like I said, I'm just setting expectations, and I'm sure you probably can figure that it probably does not rise to the level of the original, but it's still pretty good. Julianne Moore's a wonderful actress. Chloe Grace Moretz, great, good actress. So it's fine. Let's see, Chef. I got a stack. I got a stack of skip cards. Skip cards. Haha. Carrie remake was as competent as a PG-13 remake could be. Yeah, yeah. I totally agree. That's how I feel about it as well. I want a cup of tea now. Yes, I mean, get you a nice cup of tea, Mama Blu-ray. Of your choice. Either, I personally like the peppermint. I like spearmint. I like chamomile, and occasionally I'll also enjoy a wonderful spot of Earl Grey. Every now and then. So Tenet is on my list. I still need to upgrade to get that Carry 4K. Oh yeah, definitely KB. Definitely worth it. So we have gone through what, 6 so far. We got 4 more to go. I love the culture of this decade. The 70s is it's just the grooviest decade. The music is such a big part of what makes the 70s so cool for me. And I have so many of those songs on my Spotify. But this is a film here that I'm going to bring up next. If I can find it in my pile here. Oh, I have it right here. Yeah, I thought I was looking at the wrong thing. But this is a film from 1977. John Travolta starred in Carrie one year. So he's dealing with Carrie White in one movie 1 year. The next, he is playing in this film here, not the one below, but the one above, 1977, Saturday Night Fever. He plays Tony Marino. He's a young man, dancer, and this here was a 30th anniversary edition. I believe a 4K of this came out, and I did not pick it up. Now, let me know in the comments, do you think picking up that 4K is worth it? Because I saw some reviews that indicated that the 4K wasn't particularly great. So let me know what you think about that 4K. But Saturday Night Fever with that soundtrack, Staying Alive, the Bee Gees, I mean, it just doesn't get any better than that. I mean, the sound, this movie captured the disco fever and the sound of the 70s like no other film. And it has a wonderful place in history. See, you see John Travolta with that, with that classic dance pose, which I'm completely butchering, but you see that. Let John Travolta handle it. Awesome. He had a wonderful TikTok with him and his daughter Bella that is so good. It's to the song My Sunday Sunday Suit, or whatever that song is, feeling good like I should, or whatever. Anyway, check it out on TikTok. But this is John Travolta in Saturday Night Fever from 1977. Just an amazing film from the 1970s that captures the culture and the vibe of the area, of that era. Disco fever. Can anybody name a cooler time than that? I mean, and John Travolta, man, that dude, he could dance, man. I tell you what, he could tear it up on that dance floor. Let's see. What do we got here? All kinds of mint works for me. Love the breakfast teas as well. Okay. Yeah, I actually need to reheat this. It's kind of getting a little cold here, but I'll do that after this stream here. Disco, yes, you gotta love disco. You gotta love disco. And Grease with the late great Miss Olivia Newton-John. John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John are just special together on screen. They're just amazing together on screen, and she will be missed. She had an album that came out that was basically about her and her kids that to this day I remember is called Warm and Tender. And it is It's not one of her most popular albums. It's an album that a lot of people probably have never heard of, but it's an album that I absolutely love, and it's beautiful, warm and tender. Yes, love Saturday Night Fever. The Bee Gees music is timeless. Love them. You gotta love it. I mean, the sound is just out of this world, and it's timeless. I mean, you could turn it on the day, and it just takes you back. It's just incredible. See, Ben says, I've never seen Saturday Night Fever. I need to change that. Yes, you do. It's so cool, man. It's so cool. John Travolta as Tony Marino, man. It doesn't get any cooler than that, man. Staying alive, staying alive. Anyway, I don't want to run y'all off the stream, but yeah, I mean, that soundtrack is legendary. It's just legendary. Put it on your Spotify. I went from the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack to the Grease soundtrack, constant rotation. Yes, yes. I mean, and that's what makes so many of these movies great is the music. The music is what, and the soundtrack is what gives these films, the character, whether it's just whatever the music is. It could be just a score that plays throughout most of the film, or it could be certain songs that just play during, the playtime that just give character to the film. It's great. And John Travolta with his dance moves just really set that film off with that great music. It wasn't a great transfer, James, in my humble opinion. You can stay with the blue. Yeah, again, and I appreciate that, Jim. That's what I picked up on in the reviews that I saw. And so I'm perfectly happy with this Blu-ray. It's just one of those things where I'm happy with it. Now, this is a Blu-ray double feature. This actually has, it has Saturday Night Fever and it has Grease on Blu-ray, their own separate discs. Now, I did get the 4K of Grease. I do have the 4K of Grease, and I got to tell you, it looks really good. I mean, it looks very good. So I was very happy with that double dip. But I'm going to stick with this Blu-ray of Saturday Night Fever. So, yeah. Let's see what else we got here. Great movie. I recently bought the 4K, but haven't watched that edition yet. Okay. The Blu-ray says we took disco classes at the YMCA after that movie. Hubs and I can still do it. I bet you can. I bet you can. In fact, I would love to see Mama Blu-ray and her husband on one of Sue's videos doing some of those 70s dance moves. That would be awesome. Disco moves. So I think that would be great to do that, Mama Blu-ray. Yes, KB, same. Let's see. Dynamic duo. See, rumor was Travolta lost like 30 pounds to get in shape for this role, and boy, could he move in that film. Oh, yeah. I mean, I tell you what, that movie is so cool. And, you get, of course, Blowout is one of my favorite films in the Criterion Collection. It's got John Travolta in it, like 4 years after he did Saturday Night Fever. And part of the vibe that I like about that film is you have some of those musical cues in Blowout that sort of plays on, that on that disco vibe, so to speak. It's not exactly disco, but it sort of gives you that vibe a little bit. And you see Travolta kind of moving through the scene, and it just takes you right there. It's beautiful. I know this doesn't fit your requirements for this, but 78 brought us the animated The Lord of the Rings first movie. Okay, wonderful. Sounds good. That's awesome, Mama Blu-ray. Yeah, they dance class at the YMCA disco. I need to take a few dance classes myself because I have 2 left feet. Let's see. How Deep Is Your Love? Oh my gosh. I had that on my Spotify, folks. If you've never, I need to come in here close. If you have never heard the song How Deep Is Your Love from the Bee Gees, you need to turn on your Spotify right now. You need to type in How Deep Is Your Love, and you need to turn off this live stream. This is how much how strongly I feel about this. You need to shut down this live stream. Just go off YouTube, go to Spotify, and just play How Deep Is Your Love, and just put it in your ear, your AirPods, and just close your eyes and listen to that song. It is heavenly. It is so beautiful. Anyway, hope I didn't sell that too much, but it is just one of those great films. It's one of those great songs and part of the amazing soundtrack and just quintessential 70s. Part of what makes the 70s so cool. Mama Blu-ray participated in the disco era. You go, girl. 100%. See, 77, The Warrior Within with Bruce Lee. Yes. The Bee Gees soundtrack is timeless. Oh, yeah. My goodness. Preach, preach. That song will break you. Oh, yeah. It's, and I like many people love music, right? And I think part of the genius of a lot of these films is the music, right? It's not just the cinematography, but imagine some of the greatest films that you enjoy. Imagine those films without the music, right? So take some of your favorite movies and then imagine what would those movies be like if you took out the music. It would be a totally different experience, probably to the point where you probably wouldn't enjoy that movie as much, and it probably wouldn't be one of your favorite movies. That's how powerful the music is, and how talented these people are who add the musical, piece to these films. Sometimes it doesn't work as well, but when it's on point, it's on point. So, all right. So, how many have we gone through so far? We've gone through seven. We got three more to go. Three more to go. We've gone through 1977. So, we've covered Dirty Harry, The Getaway, Enter the Dragon, Death Wish, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Carrie, and Saturday Night Fever. Number 8 is a film that I love. I have not seen the latest chapter. I'm happy that the actress won her Oscar along with Michelle Yeoh and Kui Hui Kwan in Everything Everywhere All at Once as her famous tax lady. But Jamie Lee Curtis starred in 1978 in Halloween, John Carpenter's film, and I absolutely love this movie. The Night He Came Home, Michael Myers, disturbed young boy. Man, need I say more? I mean, Halloween. I mean, what more do you need to know? I mean, 1978, John Carpenter, he directed the film. He did the music, that famous music. John Carpenter did that music, and he is an absolute genius. And Halloween is just one of the greatest horror films of all time. And I have not seen Halloween Ends. I've heard mixed things about it. Do y'all like Halloween Ends? What do you think about it? And how do you feel about the original Halloween movie? Do you like I really liked the 2018 film Halloween, and I thought Halloween Kills was okay. It was just sort of okay, but I haven't seen Halloween Ends. But let me know what y'all think of that. So let's see here. Uh See, theme song for Halloween, OMG. Yeah, yeah. So good. Isn't it good? It's just one of those, it's one of those, once you hear that theme song, folks, you never forget it. You never forget it. You will never forget it. But you open this up and look what you see inside. So good. So good. You get the Blu-ray, you get the 4K, and this is just one of the great horror films of all time. Hands down, bar none, period. So yeah, that's Halloween. So that's number 8. So let's see if y'all are saying anything about these so far. Let's see here. Holland says Halloween Ends not good. That's what I've heard from others as well, that they went in a strange direction, and that just didn't work. And so which I don't have a problem with subverting the audience's expectations if it works, right? If you stick the landing, and it sounds like they didn't really stick the landing on it. So Halloween Ends was a stinker. Yeah. I have not heard anyone say it was good. I mean, as I think about it, I have not heard anyone say Halloween Ends was really good. I haven't heard anybody say that yet. 78 Straight Time with Dustin Hoffman is great. Another from 78, Deer Hunter. Yeah, we did the Deer Hunter last week. So Deer Hunter was included in the top 10 or in my 10 that I talked about last week. A very tough watch, but fantastic movie. There are scenes in that movie you can never unsee. Yeah. Oh, 100%. Like, um, yeah, I don't want to spoil it, but there are scenes in Pennsylvania in the steel town, and then there's scenes over in Vietnam. And some of those scenes in Vietnam are wow, unbelievable. So but yeah, for sure. Yes, that Halloween score is undefeated. Yeah, it's so good. It's so good. I mean, it's just classic John Carpenter. What an amazingly gifted filmmaker. You know, he did Halloween. He did The Thing too, right? Yeah, I think he did The Thing too. I get mixed up, but I think he did The Thing. Just amazing. Just incredible. Someone tried to FaceTime me. Oh, my son. Anyway, I missed it. I'll catch up with him later. Let's see. What do we have here? Original Halloween still holds up today. The music, the tension, the camera shots is the quintessential slasher flick. I agree. Straight time, haven't seen. So yeah, so that is number 8, Halloween. So we got 2 more to go, and I'm going to go ahead and go through these and look at some more comments. Hope you've enjoyed this so far tonight. I've really enjoyed hearing your recommendations and hearing what you all think about these films. We're going to go through these last 2 here right now. So from 1978 is another film. This is another film that captures the music of the era. Martin Scorsese filmed the concert for this band that was doing their last performance on Thanksgiving in 1976, I think. They were called The Band, and this is The Last Waltz, Martin Scorsese's The Last Waltz. This is a concert that he filmed basically like a movie. He shot it like a movie, and it is the most cinematic concert experience that you will ever see. And this is the 4K edition from Criterion, and I cannot recommend this enough. This is one of the best concert films you will ever see. It looks amazing on 4K. It's a new 4K digital restoration. You get 5.1 surround DTS master audio sound on this. This 4K is presented in Dolby Vision HDR, but it is an absolutely extraordinary concert. The concert is great. They do a nice job of showing you concert footage, really nice cinematic camera angles and camera movements showing the performers during their performances. And then you have cuts to interviews with the band members. So they'll show you some concert footage, doing a song, doing a great number, and there are some great songs in here. And then they'll spend a few minutes with some of the members of the band sharing their experiences and sharing, you know, how they became the band and all that and their whole experiences. But this is one of the great concert films you'll ever see. I did a review of this on my channel. I actually did the review during spring break last year. It was sort of a spring break review edition. I literally filmed the review as I was laying in a hammock. I'm in Florida. And but yeah, I love this edition, The Last Waltz, this film from 1978, Martin Scorsese. It is a fantastic film, beautiful cinematic concert, one of the best concerts you will ever see. So that is number 9. And now the last film is another horror film from director Stuart Rosenberg, starring James Brolin. He is the father of Thanos, Josh Brolin. You got Margot Kidder, who, of course, was Lois Lane in Superman, God rest her soul, and Rod Steiger, The Amityville Horror. Fantastic movie that you gotta love. This is, to this date, my only Vinegar Syndrome release. This is fantastic. I look forward to getting more Vinegar Syndrome titles like Roadhouse. I've heard great things about that. And but I'm pretty selective and about that, but I definitely want to get more Vinegar Syndrome titles. But this is the Amityville Horror. This is a really, really cool film. The some of the score and the sound of this film is haunting. It's haunting. You know, some of the music is it once you hear it, you can never unhear it. It sticks with you forever. It is based on a true story, and it is absolutely terrifying. You know, in some ways cheesy, but terrifying. So yeah, so those are the 10 films. So Dirty Harry from 1971, The Getaway from 1972, Enter the Dragon from 1973, Death Wish from 1974, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, one of only three films to win the top five Oscars, coming in from 1975, Carrie, the Stephen King film adapted to screen by Brian De Palma, starring Sissy Spacek from 1976. Saturday Night Fever, John Travolta doing his thing on the dance floor, the disco in 1977. Halloween, Michael Myers, 1978. The Last Waltz, the wonderful concert film from Martin Scorsese from 1978, and the Amityville Horror from 1979. So those are the 10 films that we have covered tonight in this stream, and I want to hear what you all think about these films here. Let's see. IIRC Dimension Scott really liked it. IIRC. What is that, Del? IIRC? Okay. I was talking about ends. Halloween Ends for Dimension. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. How Deep Is Your Love, performed by four artists: Bee Gees in 74, Drew Hill 1998, the Rapture song 2011, and Sean Paul. Have you heard any of these other versions? I probably have, but to be honest with you, the Bee Gees from 1977 is just legendary, folks. It is. If you don't watch any of these movies that I've recommended tonight, just go to your Spotify and download How Deep Is Your Love. Okay. And that by itself would be worth your time being on this stream tonight if you have not heard that movie. I mean, heard that song. How Deep Is Your Love? Oh, hello. Yeah. Halloween Ends was not too good, but they could have made it good, but they totally messed it up. Yeah. And I haven't been in a hurry to see it. I have not been in a hurry to see it. I may stream it. It may be available on Peacock. Is that where it's streaming? So we'll see. Got to grab the Waltz this July for sure. Yeah, I highly recommend it, folks. This is a great concert film. And when I first saw this was announced for 4K, I thought, that's an interesting choice. But when you pop this in a player, I'm telling you, this concert, it comes to life in your living room. I'm telling you right now, if you pop this in your player, you got a nice 4K player, you got a decent sound system, you're really going to, if you like concert type films, you're going to love The Last Waltz. So good, so good, so entertaining. I'll have to have this one to our list, James. Okay, great. Absolutely. It's worth it. Speaking of concert films, watch Stop Making Sense. It features the Talking Heads. Okay, cool. Let's see. Waltz is going on my list, says JG. Cool. See, Vin saying, James, have you seen Scorsese's Rolling Thunder review? I've seen just a few minutes of it. I have that Criterion release. I need to watch it. That's in my backlog. Yeah, it came out in 2019, but it's all about the 70s. Yeah, I need to check that one out. Thank you for that reminder, Vin. It's one of those titles in my backlog. I still gotta dust some of these titles off and watch them. Yes, Vinegar Syndrome did a fantastic job on that release. I agree. I mean, I am so happy with this. I mean, I'm definitely going to be picking up more Vinegar Syndrome titles down the road. I've heard, I think Ken over at Mid Levels recommended Roadhouse. So I will definitely be picking up more. Have not seen The Getaway. It's good. Check it out. It's really good. Great picks, James. Thank you, Dell. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yeah, there's so many great films from the 70s. If I recall correctly. Yeah, I'm not up on all the acronyms, but yes, thank you for that, KB. I appreciate it. Okay, James, I think we need a part 3 to this series. Still so many great films to talk about. Hey, you know what? And I'll leave that door open. I won't do it next week, but who knows? Maybe I'll pop on, next month and do a part 3 to this, because that is a great point. There's so many great films from this decade that I covered 10 last week. I covered 10 tonight, and there's so many more that we could cover. See, Vin, 1979 film I absolutely love, a Hal Ashby film called Being There. Yeah, that's another title in my backlog I need to watch. Starring Peter Sellers. Yeah, I got it during a recent Criterion sale as well, and I need to watch it. KKB agrees. Let's see. Traveling Man James, if you're a fan of the Halloween series, the 4Ks are okay. That's my computer's Cortana talking to me. The 4Ks are 50% off now at Shout Factory. Okay, have to keep that in mind. Thanks, KB. You beat me this time. Great stream, James. Hope everybody has a great weekend. Yes, it is the unofficial start of the weekend. The weekend is almost on, folks. Grooving to How Deep Is Your Love Now? What a banger. Oh, it does not get any better than that, does it? In fact, I'm probably going to go to my Spotify after I get off the screen. I'm going to turn the Bluetooth on my iPhone here, and I'm going to just play that when this is over. Mika and Kara says, love this series, James. 70s is really such a great film era. Yeah, totally agree. Totally agree. I'm glad you love it. Breaking Away, 1979. But yeah, that's all we have in the comment section. But I just wanted to say thank you for joining tonight. Hope that you enjoyed this. I really enjoyed hearing your comments about these movies, and hope that you all have a great weekend coming up. Hope you have an awesome Friday coming up. I got a couple more comments I want to capture here, and maybe do it as a top 5 from each year of the 1970s. I like that. I like that idea. Paper Moon was good. Tatum O'Neal won an Academy Award at 10 years old. Okay, good to know. But I hope y'all have a great rest of your Thursday evening. I got to wrap up some things here and get ready for Friday. Got some things to take care of for work, and then got some basketball action with my son this weekend. But hope y'all have a great weekend, whatever you get into, whether it's watching Fast 10, whether it's watching movies in your physical media library, or whatever it is you get into. Hope you have an awesome weekend. NBA playoffs is going on. A lot of great things going on out there in the world of physical media and entertainment. And let's go for it. Hope you all have a great Thursday night, great Friday and weekend coming up. And we'll look to see you next time at the movies. Peace. Have a great one, y'all. I enjoyed it.